All right, shalom everyone, and peace of the Lord to all of you, and no peace for the wicked, the Lord said. I wasn't planning to come live, and I see one of you saying you're coming late, as if I am working for those people here. Like, coming late, coming early, coming. Anyway, uh, we heard the news about this filthy dog. His name is Mohammed. I'm not sure which country he's from until now, or what we know, that his filthy name is the same as Muhammad, the prophet of the cult of the Islam. Uh, I will not be surprised if he, even though like he look white, but the name sound maybe an Egyptian. But the way the word Muhammad is written, it sounds like a Turkish. So we will see. We will find out. This filthy animal, he attacked a group of old people, and I don't know if you can read with me in the screen. Those people are between 66 and 78 people in the age. Very old people. This filthy dog, he go and he's holding Molotov, mostly it's a methanol or something like that in those bottles, and he have a fire device in his hand, and he got close to your face and he spray you, and he catch the liquid with fire, and that will stuck to your skin and you will be burning. This is the same faith is come back. I guess this is when the police came. He is holding two bottles in his hand, and he took off his t-shirt so he will not catch on fire, supposedly. I don't know if in Colorado they have death penalty or not, but the problem in Colorado, there's a lot of liberals, and they will defend him. Those filthy liberals, they will defend such a dog. Can you believe it? Do Colorado have death penalty? No, they don't. Stupid state. Anyway, I hope they will take him to federal prison, and if I am in charge, I will deliver him to Israel, and there they will teach him how to attack all people and how to scream free Palestine. He was spraying those people with this liquid and fire, and he was shouting free Palestine. You filthy son of Muta. If you are a man, go and fight. Go join Hamas. Who's holding you? You coward, you dog, you animal. Who's holding you? All people at the age of between 66 and 78. They cannot even defend themselves. They cannot even use their hands to fight. He chose people who they are extremely old. That remind me of his prophet, the filthy Muhammad, when he cut a woman two pieces when she was alive. If you remember the story of Qurfa, she was more than 80 years old. The filthy Muhammad, he split her two pieces when she is alive. He tied her legs into two camels, and he forced the two camels to run into different direction. This is how filthy they are. Those are not fighters. They are not serving an army. They never went to Gaza. They are people asking for the hostages to be released. This filthy, obviously, he was watching the internet. He knew that they are going to be gathering there. He was waiting for them. I don't know if that thing behind him, he used it too in his attack or not. I'm not sure what that thing there, the light gray in color. I'm not sure what it is. But this filthy animal, I hope they will get him for some time with the CIA to check if he have any connection to any terrorist groups, and they will teach him how to behave and how to be nice for the rest of his life. Such people should not be tolerated, and USA should make an example of them, because if we don't, they will take advantage of that. This is why I'm saying the federal investigation should be launched, because this is terrorist, this is terrorism, and Colorado should not be the one who decide what will happen to him. This is an act of terrorism. This is not a crime in a state. In the beginning, I heard the news, but as usual, those people, they always hide the name of the person who did it. And the police around the world, always when a Muslim he do a crime, they don't mention the name. They do it on purpose. They are filthy scumbag. They are accomplished with the crime, with criminals. They always try to protect Islam, and there, there is no excuse except that they are stupid liberals. Always they are stupid liberals. Liberals, wherever they go, they are so stupid. I cannot believe it, how stupid the ones who do join such a group. And I will not be surprised if you see many sick, filthy scumbags from the liberals, including Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, in his heart saying, you did good. They are a filthy party. This is a party of fascism. I'm sure you will find a lot of posts in Instagram and Facebook praising this filthy man. And those posts, not necessarily made by Muslims, will be made by liberals. They are sick. They are sick, they are filthy, they are the junk of America. We don't know if there is more images. Here we see an image when they arrested him. You should treat him like a dog, this filthy animal. Filthy animal. I can't describe him more. Not too many images and not too many report. Not until now there's no even one video about it. We don't see any video. What a filthy scumbag. The best scenario to do, I will jail him with those are the pervert, the rapist, the one that will even rape men. I will put him in the same room so he can free Palestine as much he wish. What a scumbag. I don't know what to say. Very filthy, very trashy. This cult, so-called Islam, is a curse. It is a curse. When Winston Churchill, he said, Islam for men is the same as rabies for dogs. I think he gave the best ever description for what Islam is about. You cannot describe this filthy cult better than Winston Churchill. The second you have something to do with Islam, you became a rabies. You became a dog. You want to bite everybody. You cannot be a Muslim and you are a peaceful person. It's impossible. And you know, the whole world blaming Israel, but the whole world, they went silence when the Muslims attacked the Jews and killed them and raped their women by hundreds. Israel did not enter Gaza for 20 years. They allowed the people of so-called Gaza, who they are not even from there, to have their own government, to have their own police, to have their own border with Egypt. What the 20 years of Israel doing nothing with them accomplish? Peace? No. It was a piece of shit. Those filthy scumbags, they were preparing themselves for 20 years to attack and rape and kill. And now the whole world wants Israel to stop. Why they should stop? You know, Israel is a very small community. When you kill one Israeli, it's the same as you kill maybe 100,000 Muslims, because this is how they are small in number compared to Muslims. So when we say Hamas attack and killed in the first 2 hours 1,300 people, and then they kidnap and rape a lot of women, and then the number of deaths increase and increase and increase. Those victims, I mean, we saw them, they were even dancing. They have a festival. Nobody is attacking them. Nobody is attacking Gaza. Nobody is attacking anybody. The stupid Israeli, and I want to use the word stupid, the stupid Israeli, we warned them a billion times. Never trust a peace agreement with Muslims. It doesn't matter how many times you sign agreement with them. They will not be better than their prophet. Muhammad, he did the same. He signed agreement with his enemies, peace agreements, until he got strong and he slaughtered them all. Why those stupid Israelis do not want to learn? Why they go and sleep? And look what happened when the Israelis decide to be serious. Hezbollah is shivering in their asses. Hezbollah in Lebanon became like a mosquito. Hezbollah just a few months ago was claiming to be giant. They want to destroy Israel. When the Israelis decide to do the right thing, Hezbollah is under the shoes. Became the joke of everybody. Why the Israeli don't understand that if you don't protect yourself, if you believe in a piece of paper, like now they sign an agreement with Egypt for peace. Peace will never happen. When Egypt, the only reason Egypt is not attacking you because they cannot attack you. Because they are weak. Because they are bankrupt. But if those Muslims tomorrow become so rich, especially your neighbors, you will see what will happen. The stupid Netanyahu and every single prime minister beside him, they got many opportunity to attack Iran. Today we saw the report that Iran can create at least 6 nuclear bombs. 6. Tomorrow. Until now, the stupid Israeli, they are putting their trust on Trump. Trump, he don't care. Trump, he would just want to sign an agreement. He mentioned that many times. But the agreement will do nothing. Will give them time, and then tomorrow they will announce that they have nukes, and then what you can do about it? They will nuke you. Again, many opportunity came to Israel to attack the nukes. We remember last time the Israeli army attacked stupid building in the middle of nowhere and they claim, oh, we destroyed a lot. You did nothing. The report which shows today prove that the Israeli did nothing in Iran. And now Netanyahu became like a puppy. He cannot disobey Trump. Trump says, no, don't attack them. Don't listen, attack them. What Trump would do? This is the salvation of your nation. Trump, he come, he go. He's nobody. 3 years more is gone. What Trump will do if you attack them? If Iran is going to attack America tomorrow, do you think Trump, he will hesitate for a second? No. He will bomb them. Trump is a businessman. But this is not about business. This is about your future. Those dogs, they hate you. And they will not have rest until they destroy you. If you so stupid you don't understand that, well, you will pay for that very, very bad. And don't tell me Israel have nukes. That will not be enough. Because one nuke will be very devastating for a small country in the size of a farm in Texas. The farm of George Bush is bigger than all of Israel together. These farms in Texas are bigger than Israel and bigger than Lebanon. So one bomb will be a massive disaster for Israel. Are they going to wait? I hope not. And I say to this scumbag, I mean, look at him, he looked like a chicken. I mean, disgusting. He looked literally like a chicken, son of Muta. I hope, and I really hope, they will jail you in purpose with people who they are rapists, like the worst criminals you can imagine. So they can give your ass a free Palestine every day. And maybe you will give birth to Islamic State of Palestine by the time you come out of jail after 20, 30 years. What a scumbag filthy you are. There's one person from those who they attack, they took two by airlifting, which obviously their injury is bad. But one of them maybe is very more bad than the other. So we pray for those injured to be healed very soon, and they will go and they will do whatever they want to do. If you hear that people who they are from Israel, they are going to protest or they are going to do any occasion, go and support them. We Christians, we have a duty to protect them. They are a small minority in this country. If I know, if I live in that state, I will go. I will go. Because I know those filthy dogs, we don't want to harm anyone. We want to protect them. Obviously, the police are not doing their job. Shouldn't those stupid police be there? They knew that they are going to make a protest for the hostages. They knew that they are Jews. Everybody know about the event. Yet the police, they send nobody there. What a stupid garbage police department in Colorado. Just 2 weeks ago, the same thing happened in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. have a lot of security. How the guy was able to go with his gun all the way to passing the green zone, which is nobody can carry guns, very close from the White House, because simply security in USA is a rubbish. Something needs to be changed. This is why when there's an occasion, we should join them and do what we can do to protect them. And I will be happy to carry the sign with those Jews, and even to carry the Israeli flag. Very filthy, very stupid people. As our Lord, He said, from their fruits you shall know them. Nothing new. Nothing new. But I'm glad that he don't have a serious weapon and he was not able, I'm assuming maybe that this guy, he is not allowed to buy weapon, because why he did not use weapon, So he might be a person who have felony, so he is forbidden from buying guns. Otherwise, if somebody wanna kill, he will buy guns, it's more effective, more easy. This fire thing is just stupid thing, He will harm people, but most likely he will not be able to kill them. So I am expecting that this person have many crimes and he been in jail before, and this is why he cannot, or he is not allowed to buy and license a gun. I don't want to keep you longer here. Not too many people are here. People are busy. I saw somebody posting for me in Rumble a debate with Ali Dawah and God Logic. And I find it very funny about the Christians. They are posting the video posted by Ali Dawah, which means they are asking the Christians to go to Ali Dawah page. I don't know why the Christians, I don't want to be rude, but do those people use their brain? Secondly, there's nothing there. It's just a stupid video. It's just kids talk. Those reaction videos is just, either you get them busted or you just, there's no need for this. So there's no debate. This guy cannot debate. It's a kids talk. And then we promote a video of Ali Dawah. They are not even posting the video from the Christian guy. They are posting the video of the Muslim. So the Christian, they will go to the Muslim page. The Muslim should pay you. They should say thank you. You click at his video, commercial play, you are making money for him. Thank you. Priceless. Bring more Christians to click at Ali Dawah page. Nobody want to use his brain. Nobody. Using the brain these days, it hurts, It's very hurting. Don't use your brain. Use AI. Like, try to live like Lily J. Hey, ChatGPT, did you watch the video of Ali Dawah? What a video! What is a joke? What a bunch of dummies. Anyway, I don't want to keep you longer. I just wanted to share about this video with you. Yes, I see the Rumble comments. Why I don't see them? I have two eyes. One eye is looking at Rumble and the other eye is looking at YouTube. And the third eye is looking at this filthy scumbag Muhammadan. Alright? Yeah. Muhammad have four eyes. The fourth one is his anus. Because this is how he was able to see that shaitan take hair from his anus. If he didn't have an eye there, how he was able to see it? You tell me. He must be having fourth eyes. The fourth eye is located in the fourth hole. What a scumbags. Garbage in, garbage out. Christian Prince don't go. That's it. We share the news with you. And yeah. I was working in my book actually. You see, yesterday, 2 days ago, I told you my air condition stopped working, is going to cost $2,700. Today, with those, I met with those guys from church, and there's a guy. He said, "I saw that your car window is open. Your AC is not working." I said, "No, it's not working." He said, "I can fix it for you." I said, "Really? How much you will charge?" He said, "Usually a lot, but for you, $60. Okay. So from $2,700, for sure I have to buy the compressor, but this is his wages. So he said he will charge me only. He's a mechanic, so he will charge me only 60. And if he spend more time, I will pay him more. So you see, the Lord always provide. Like it's a painful payment to pay, $2,700. But God is good, and I hope by the coming week we will have it fixed. All right. No, I did not pay. I did not pay it. I did not pay anything yet. I said it's going to cost. I check how much it costs to change the compressor. You can check online. They are saying the average 2007, 2005, depend. In my car, they have to remove many parts before they can put the compressor, so it's going to take more time. But this guy is a very nice guy. Obviously, he is not charging me, really. He is doing it voluntarily, Like, he is just to make me feel like, I paid him something. $60. I will give him properly, even though he's asking for 60, I will pay him maybe 100 something, because he is saving me a lot of money. All right? He deserves it. Quick questions. When I showed a Sunni hadith about Muhammad from Sahih Muslim, said it's not true. We are only using Sirat al-Anbiya. Can I buzz them? With all the hadith is coming from the Sirah. This guy is stupid. Whoever said that to you? Whoever said that to you? The first books written about Muhammad is those books. So the hadith is coming from there anyway. He's a donkey. He's literally, it's just he's hoping you do not know, and we have to find a way to escape the embarrassment, right? Sahih Muslim, it's called authentic Muslims. So there's no authentic. It's called the Sirah. There's no authentic Sirah. There's no. Everybody knows that the Muslim Sunni, they have 6 authentic books. When we say books, we don't mean books, just book. We mean 6 authentic writers. Each one of them, he have many books. All right. As an example, Al-Bukhari is not one book; is many books. So like there is the book of shit, the book of effing, the book of jihad, the book of stealing. There's many books. But all of them supposedly is called Al-Bukhari. So when a Muslim he says that to you, it's just to hoping that you do not know, you are ignorant, and he can get away with it. Just tell him, you idiot. It's called authentic Muslim, Sahih Muslim. Potato. But you cannot debate a liar, can you? Nobody can debate a liar. Never waste your time debating a liar. We can buzz them, but we cannot debate them. Because debate have to happen between 2 innocent, decent people. Muslims cannot be decent. It's against their religion. All right? Anything else? All right. Any other question? All right. I have listened to Christian Prince for 3 years. And my friend, you are a baby then. I mean, baby listening to me. There is people, they were listening to me already, they are taller than me now. They were listening to me when they were kids. You see France, yeah, a bunch of trashy nation, you know. But this is a country, it's called France. This is a country of shitty people. Garbage, you know. Look, their daughters get raped, they don't get upset. Their daughters get kidnapped, they don't get upset. Their borders is open, they don't get upset. The Muslim trash in their cities, they don't upset. But football game, they will kill each other. Junk. Very filthy, trashy society. Those are the junk of mankind. Thank God I don't live in France. Very, very trashy. This is not a country. This is a bunch of savage trash. You see, in fact, I warn you, never support any sport team. When you support a sport team, you are stupid. Because this team, okay, they say to you, French team. They are not French. All of them, they are either African or Muslims. When we say French, you expect to see what French. Everybody is not even French citizen. It's a joke. From Ghana, from Kenya, from South Africa, from Brazil, from Argentina. Where is the French team? There's no. So it's a commercial. This is not a game. This is about money, and those stupid people, they die fighting each other over what? They get rich, you stay poor. You are a donkey, and now you will go to jail. 200 people get severely injured. A guy, his son, he's maybe 6 years old. He is in the like intensive care. A woman, she lost her face. She was burned. Very, very trash. For what? Those teams, they are not playing for you, you donkey. Those are billionaires. You remember when they have the FIFA in Qatar? As usual, Qatar hijack everything with their money. There's a guy, he sold his car, his house. He sold everything he have so he can attend the FIFA. I mean, a human being is just a stupid idiot for a stupid game. Anyone, he fly from place to place to watch a sport game, I give you a certification that you are a stupid, mental, ill person. First, this is not even a sport. This is commercial game. Companies make billions from it, not millions, billions. And they take it from your pocket. And then they will beat you. And the police cannot protect you. Even the police get beaten. So you are a certified idiot to believe that there is a team to represent you. People are stupid. I cannot describe it better than this. I will never support any sport team. I will do that only if that will make the Abdul angry. Otherwise, I don't really care. Who is the potato? Who is the tomato? It's just a stupid. I mean, look, guys, look at this. Look how filthy the world is. People die, you know, serving in the army to protect their country. Nobody know their names. Nobody want to take selfie with them. Their kids became orphans. Many of those soldiers lose their hand, their leg, or even their body is totally burned. Nobody want to take selfie with them. A guy, he play with football like a monkey. Everybody, their president coming to welcome them, macaroni. He come to welcome them. Hundreds of thousands waiting for them in the street. Firework. All of this for a football. But people who die, people who give their life, people who lost their limb, their foot, their leg, their hands, their eyes, their vision, nobody know them. This word is the word of the stupid. This is why we as a Christians, we have a duty to teach our kids not to be stupid like those people. Celebrate those who deserve to be celebrated. And those who they are actors, they deserve nothing because they are getting their wages, and their wages is so high. And they are not playing for you, and not even for your country. Go check all those football games, you know, teams. You will find more than 60% of them are not even from the country. It's just a joke. Even they sell the one who play in auctions. His price now is $2 million, $3 million, $5 million. Oh, this, even they say to you that this like club, they bought this player. They bought him. I mean, they say that we bought him. The Saudi, they bought what this guy, his name? From Argentina? I forgot his stupid name. They paid him $500 million. They bought him. He is their dog now. For I don't know how many years. This is another form of slavery. All right? It is another form of slavery. So don't be excited with this stupid game. It's just a stupid game. You know, if it's a sport, support sport, no problem. I like sport. Encourage your kids to do sport. I hate anything is commercial. It's not sport no more. Nothing in the sport today is a sport unless you are playing it. When there is people, they are professional, those are not doing sport. Those are professional. They make a lot of money. So never support something commercialized. There's a team of kids, a school, no money involved, nothing, no garbage. Support them, join them. Good for you. Stay healthy. But don't join the crowd of stupidity. All right? I wish I am serving in the police in Colorado. I want to spend like 2 hours with this Abdul. Son of Muta. $5 million? What 5 million? 500 millions. What 5 million? Yeah, because they will make from him more money. When they give you 500 million, this is telling you how massive the stupidity of the world. When they give a player, somebody he play, a $500 million, that means they will make at least 5, 6, 7 times more than what they pay him from tickets. All right. All right. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you longer, guys. I hope I We pray for those victims to be healed very fast, and I hope that they will change the law, that those who do crimes and the purpose of them is hatred against a group of people. You see, we are against even to do any harm to Muslims. We don't want people to harm Muslims. Anyone will attack people who have nothing to do with anything. The law should change into execution in public place, not in a closed doors. So everybody will see what will happen to him if he act like a scumbag like this. So I hope the law will change, and let us see what the general attorney, they should categorize this crime as federal crime involving the federal government, so they can move him out of Colorado and they can change the penalty to something more severe. I hope so, and I pray for that. Let us hope so. I'm not going to keep you longer. I want to say thank you all for being here. Again, pray for those victims. They are very old people, you know, they cannot handle such an attack, especially the 178. You know, this is like 80 years old. You know, this is when you are 80 years old, your body is very weak. This filthy, he chosen very weak people to attack. He's a coward. He's a scumbag. Not only they are not armed, not only they are civilians, they are very old people, very filthy, like his prophet. As the Lord, he said, from their fruits you shall know them. And always remember that God is good, so is Jesus, and we are the crusade. I hope to see you tomorrow. See ya.